let's talk about expectations for a second. I have different expectations for my Canada Goose jacket that I paid $2,400 for than I do for a $250 LL Bean jacket that I bought on vacation when it just started snowing randomly, right? If I pay a lot for something, I expect it to work exactly how I thought it would work, consistently, every single time. I don't want that coat to only work in 40-degree weather. I want it to work in sub-zero weather as well. What's that have to do with basketball? It has everything to do with my man, Ben Simmons. What you've paid for him, what you expect from him, and what he ends up doing. Right?
Yeah.
He gets paid $35 million a year. He is a point guard. Point guards should shoot. He does not shoot. It is time to have a heart-to-heart about Ben Simmons. It's time. It's been brewing. It's been coming. The world absolutely stands for him, probably more than they do Marcus Smart. I think actually that's the person that said I should put a bullet in my head was when I said that I would take like 15 other guards over Ben Simmons.
Oh.
People are big mad.
Yeah.
People are fiercely loyal in Philly. People are fiercely loyal in Boston, and I get that. That's fine. So it's been coming. I've been wanting to talk about Ben Simmons for a while, and I have kind of like sort of. So the Sixers are the best team in the East, right? Embiid's a legit MVP candidate.
Yeah.
Tobias Harris coming along, right?
Yeah, playing good in the new system.
Playing great in the new system. They've been doing things that we would hope from them. They got Danny Green. They got Seth Curry. They need shooters, and they got that. They are a matchup problem for pretty much everyone in the East. So what's wrong? Why are we talking about this then? What's wrong is that they just went west, and they got fucking dog-walked. Dog-walked, and that was not a fluke. That was just more of the same. That was a consequence of glaring issues with the roster construction. And if you look closely, it was there all along, right? Let's look at who they've lost to so far this season. Cavs, Nets, Hawks, Nuggets, Pistons, Blazers, once without Dame and CJ, once without CJ, Suns, Grizzlies. What do all these teams have in common?
Some pretty good guard play on those rosters.
Right?
Yeah.
Dynamic backcourts and potent scoring. Sexland, Nets Big Three, Trae Young, Jamal Murray and Michael Porter Jr., Dame and Gary Trent Jr., or even Melo, Book and CP3. The other teams that beat the Sixers, they played without Joel Embiid, so they don't matter.
Yeah. Etuan Moore cooked Philly, too.
Etuan Moore cooked Philly. I mean, that's a big-time problem.
Yeah.
I think also your boy, what's his face, from Detroit also cooked Philly.
Josh Jackson.
Josh Jackson and Wayne Ellington also cooked Philly.
Yep.
So there are glaring issues, right, that are hiding in plain sight. No one's talking about them. Let's be honest, because the East, they're number one in the East, and everyone thinks that that just means you're a world beater. But the truth is that the East has had very hobbled guard play due to COVID, due to injuries. So it makes you look better than you really are. Philly is like a boyfriend with two phones, just super sus. Sus enough for me to give the confidence to say, you know, it's going to be really sad when Philly gets bounced early in the playoffs. And no one sees it coming, and I bask in the sun of being right, just like I love to do. I just get a nice little tan, get nice tan lines from how right I am with how warm that sun is. That is the best case scenario. Eastern Conference Finals is the best case scenario for Philly. They will not go to the finals. They will not win it all. And all that trouble, I would say, revolves around our boy Ben Simmons. Our man Ben Simmons. Why? Let's just talk about what he does well.
Okay.
6'11" point guard. That's insane.
Right.
6'11" point guard, an anomaly in itself, right? He can pass, he can play make, he can lead the break in transition. He's bullying guards, posting them up.
Gets in the lane pretty easily.
Gets in the lane very easily. Great, crafty around the rim. He's a fucking monster. But he's getting $35 million a year because he's a lockdown. lockdown defender.
Yeah. Might be one of the best in the league. Yeah. Is one of the best, might be the best.
Yeah, considers himself the best defender in the NBA.
Yeah.
He's supposed to take the pressure off the rest of the defense in a bunch of different ways because they have either glaring issues on the perimeter or Joel Embiid really doesn't want to defend that much because he has he's injury prone.
Yeah.
See, folks, I do watch Sixers games. I do watch basketball. So what's the problem? Even though Ben Simmons is probably going to win Defensive Player of the Year, he's definitely going to make first team all defense. When you look closely, he's actually not that good at defending guards. He's phenomenal at guarding forwards. Don't get me wrong. But when he's matched up against guards, they shoot a staggering 42% against him from three-point range. He's getting cooked. He's getting cooked. That seems actually impossible since he's 6 inches taller than most of the guards that he's defending. But that's the league for you, I guess, now. Unstoppable guard play. So yeah, that's a fucking problem. Yes, he leads the break. He's good at that, getting out in transition. But the facts are that the pace of play actually goes down when he's on the floor.
Yeah, the paces dropped from 105.07% in December to 100.73% in February.
Yikes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yes, he can facilitate, but he actually averages 3 turnovers a game, which is some of the worst for a point guard. The biggest issue, these are just little issues. The biggest issue is our man in a league where three-pointers are king, which we just talked about a couple of segments ago. And why? Three-pointers are king, and Ben Simmons refuses to shoot them. He actually refuses to shoot at all outside of the restricted area. He has shot 9 times outside of 15 feet. 9. This entire season. 9. And just let that sink in for a second.
How many of those were heaves?
I don't even know. He's only made 1. He's only made 1 of 9 attempts outside of 15 feet, and he is your point guard. Yikes. He's actually, because people will say, oh, Trysta, he's gotten so much better. He's progressing. He's improving. No, he's actually gotten worse as a shooter as his career has progressed. So that's the facts. Did I also mention that he's the top 3 highest paid player in the league next to Curry and Damian Lillard? Makes more than Damian Lillard, Ben Simmons. Damian Lillard shoots 9 times in a quarter outside of 15 feet. What? So the problem really is that when the playoffs come, things change. Mm-hmm. Transition gets taken away. This becomes a half-court offense. Guard play, elevated. It just automatically happens just based on the teams that are going to be in the playoffs. Coaches will scheme for you, and they will scheme for the fact that we all know Ben Simmons will not shoot. They will scheme and say, Ben, leave him open. Let him shoot. Let him shoot. He will not shoot. Teams are going to pack the paint and double Joel and force every single other person to shoot. Sixers fans, I have a question for you. Do you trust Seth Curry and Tobias Harris to get you to the finals? I don't know. I don't know. Because if Joel Embiid is taken away and Ben Simmons can't do what he does best, then what do you have? Even if your shooters shoot lights out, even if those role players like Danny Green get hot, Tyrese Maxey get hot, the Sixers are still not going to be able to keep up pace with the likes of Brooklyn and Milwaukee, who are scoring, I think, 120 points a game.
A lot.
That's just not going to happen.
No.
Why? Because Ben then he defends the best scorer. We'll call it like Book, or in the Eastern Conference, we'll say he guards Kyrie. Now you've got matchup issues on the perimeter elsewhere because you have to have 3 guards on the floor at any given time because you've got a player in Ben Simmons who's not a guard and who can't score. So that's a big, big time issue because now that team can get buckets everywhere else besides the guard play, and the guards still will get off. Devin Booker the other night still put 34 on his head. Damian Lillard still put 30 on his head. So that's not going to make up. No matter how much he can defend, that will not make up for the ability to shoot on the other side. That's damning. I'm sorry, folks. I know that you love Ben Simmons. I know that you hate me because I'm pointing out all of the flaws that Ben Simmons has. Someone said to me in my DMs the other day, Ben Simmons doesn't need to learn how to shoot because then he would become a perfect player. And he don't need him to become a perfect player. All I want is him to attempt to shoot. Simmons is a problem because he will not shoot. He is one of the least efficient Sixers as the primary ball handler for pick and roll. He can't lock down guards on the other end of the floor. I mean, what are we doing? What are we doing? It almost doesn't matter what I say. I have all these facts. I have all these stats that show you your man's is a problem. Your man's is not going to help you succeed in a bunch of different ways because of how the playoffs just are as a fact. And you won't listen. You won't hear me out. All you want to do is fight. All you want to do is tell me I don't listen to basketball or watch basketball and how I should never speak about sports ever again. Can you just imagine for your in your mind for a second what your team would look like with a legit point guard? One that could actually shoot, run the pick and roll, give Embiid some fucking space so that he can work an offense like a James Harden who Philly wanted to trade Ben Simmons for? Oof. You need a point guard, Philly fans, who can put up 30 consistently. You need one that when it's 5 seconds left in the game that you can scheme for to hit a last-second shot. There is no scenario where Doc Rivers is like 3.2 seconds left on the clock and we're going to Ben Simmons.
Yeah, let's dial up the Simmons.
There is I don't even think that exists in the playbook. So until Ben Simmons will shoot the ball, he's like that LL Bean coat, but one that I paid $2,500 for. Just an overpaid unicorn that becomes a liability in the fucking playoffs. Sorry. Not sorry.